Books. Oh, looks like someone's journal or something. I guess this is where the reading begins. April 20th. During a fit of rage, I burnt my previous diary. Not that I regret it, as if my disjointed notes were worth anything. Their only purpose was to keep me sane. I feel that this is my escape route, my only means of finding some inner peace. Whenever I put my pen to this paper, I feel that I can reflect upon my situation. I just wish I had more options, that's all. But I'm rambling. I must think clearly. Focus. Focus! May 12th? Probably. I've become an eternal guardian, stuck between few choices and none of which are good. Do I fulfill a promise and violate everything that I believe in, the very principles of my life, or am I condemned to spend the rest of my existence in this deadened state, a ghost with no other purpose than just being here, watching? I truly have no escape. I can't find an appropriate solution to this problem, and I must pay the price. I'm a shadow of the man I used to be. Only these notes remain my testament in these moments of meditation, my sole companion. June 26th. Over a month later. Today I spent the entire afternoon staring at the window, my mind a blank. Oddly enough, I really didn't care. It seems now as though it was something natural for me, a part of my personality. But I know the reason very well. I've lost my soul. I'm an empty shell devoid of any feelings. I renounced them on that fateful day. And the worst thing is I knew there were going to be consequences. No, that's not true. Consequences were far worse than I expected. How could I be so blind? And then the diary skips to January 20 something. I'm not sure what that number is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be 9th? Maybe it's not 29th. Let's say it's 29th. I often wonder what would have happened if we had simply reversed it all. What would happen if right now I came out and told the world what really happened? No, I'd end up rotting in jail, although that might be a better destiny compared to this eternal suffering. Then again jump to November 17. That has to be number 1. Okay, but then why is there TH instead of ST? I don't know anymore. November. I can't say for sure when it began. I just heard them one morning coming from the next room. The whispers. Are they real? Have I been alone for too long? They won't stop. I can't stand it any longer. February 9th. Ever since I locked it away, that everything seems to have calmed down a bit. Perhaps James was right after all. It's madness, I know. Madness? But at this point I'd be inclined to believe anything. May. Over the years I was convinced that everything James suffered was a misfortune, a whim of destiny. For the first time ever, I'm not so sure anymore. I never thought it could happen, but I believe I understand now. If this is so, then cursed be my soul. Poor James. If I had acted in another way, then maybe things would have worked out differently. But it's too late now, and I have to suffer my Calvary. September 13th. The noises are back, although this time they're different. Before, I'd only hear them inside my head, as if someone or something was whispering and, how to put this, interrupting my thoughts. But now, I can really feel them spreading around the house. What are they? And the next day, surprisingly, September 14th, I've realized the noises are coming from down there. I don't want to think about it anymore. That's supposed to be December, clearly, with some letters missing. They are unbearable. They get worse at night. Oh, how I wish it would stop. What is going on down there? I don't dare go nearer. I don't want to know. Well, May. I guess he started at March, but ended up writing only in May. God, how many years have passed? I have lost all sense of time. I have to get out of this place. Well, that was an interesting read. The diary disturbed me in a way I couldn't explain, yet I felt curious about what had been tormenting that poor fellow. Yep, I am curious too. Just like Art Hater. It looked as if an untidy person enjoyed reading in the living room. Why untidy? Because the books aren't aligned in a stack? Okay, I'm gonna have to save here, and I will have to check something before we continue, so we will continue momentarily. Okay, here we are again. I decided to lower the game volume a tad, as the music is pretty loud in places, so it won't cover up what I'm saying and things. Just in case, I tried again, but still there was no power. Okay, did we checked that painting? We didn't check this side yet. Creepy lady peeling potatoes or something? Potato lady. Place was full of exquisite blah 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 again. Ugh, I hate these paintings. Well, I hate... I have a feeling this is a religious theme, at least it looks very much like it. Ugh. An impressive fireplace, and surprisingly clean too, although it hadn't been used in a long time. The fireplace had a generous amount of wood in it, and I was relieved to know that I could warm the place up in case it got cold. I'm certainly not good at chopping trees. Well, we can't all be good at things, Michael Art Hater. Alrighty, I guess we'll continue through this door. Let's see what we'll find behind it. A study of sorts, or something like it. What is this, a Mayan calendar? Who lived here, Indiana Jones? Cigars? Nope, smoking can kill you, especially when the cigars are decades old. You're being paranoid, Michael. Come on, light one up. The little drawer wouldn't open. Sucks. Okay, what's here? Exquisite, albeit aged candelabras again. There is some weird huge disc here with indents or something. And another fireplace. The stone in the fireplace was cold to the touch. Remnants of a previous fire. Where? I don't see any. Michael, you are hallucinating again. Stop it. You are being creepy again. The glass was empty. Pity, I could have used a drink. I think Michael is an alcoholic. He sees an empty glass and the first thing that comes to his mind is having a drink. Clear science, people. Just a bunch of uninteresting books. Okay, let's go check the desk here, I guess. No point going to the light switch. Let's see, what do we find in the drawers? I guess nothing in this one. There was something here, a letter or something maybe. The envelope was empty, so we just grabbed an empty envelope. How awesome is that? I couldn't think of anything else, so I stole an envelope. Was that a screwdriver or what the heck? It looked like a boring tool. A very boring tool. Ha. I made a pun. Moha. Oh, a locked drawer. Have to remember that one. 2 years of East Africa. A journey to the source of the Nile with numerous illustrations. Ooh, a picture book. Me likey. I like picture books. They have pretty pictures. Oh my god, one of these things. How to annoy your guests. And it doesn't serve any real purpose either. At least not for now. There's a leather-bound book. Oh, looks like another diary or something. From February 6th. Why don't these people mark years? Seriously. The construction of the railway bridge is almost complete and went quite smoothly. It took longer than I expected, yet I wish it would have lasted longer. I will be very sad to leave South Africa. I've become so attached to it, its culture, its arts, over the past few months, that I can't help feeling as if it was already a part of me. I will surely return someday. Soon, hopefully, although I'm afraid there is a great deal of work to be taken care of back in old Britain. Fortunately, I made good friends here who were ecstatic about my new appreciation of their country. They have offered me some wonderful objects as a token of gratitude, which I have already created and got ready to ship, along with many trinkets I bought myself. It looks like I'm about to start a very substantial collection. It's a good thing Catherine agreed to move into our new home, although I fear several renovations will have to be made, even more if I'm intending to start a serious new hobby. It seems I'll have to get back to work. John Patterson has just told me some natives are causing trouble. A very unfortunate thing, although I'm secretly rejoicing. Whatever floats your boat, I guess. February 12th. The natives won't leave. It's not like they're causing trouble, so much as they're unsettling our workers. The only complaint so far has been distraction. They just stand still between the trees staring at us without blinking an eye. I've watched them for a few minutes and they truly seem like some tenebrous statues. At first it was just annoying, but lately it has become downright creepy. They seem to be stalking us. So it's not like they're hindering the construction, but there is a general uneasy feeling as if they were about to jump at us at any moment. I think I will hire some protection as a measure of precaution. February 15th. Fascinating. I've been looking into these natives. They live in a nearby village and are a very small group, yet they seem to manage quite well. I had thought of them as quite an uncivilized tribe, but their movements are calculated and one can perceive a sense of careful organization in their tasks. Oddly enough, they seem to be very brutish, and their aspect looks awful, although I couldn't take a good look at their facial features as I followed one of them completely on my own, and it could have been dangerous getting any closer. Also, the village is poor and very rough, but some of the shacks leapt out as inviting or special. It made me very curious. I will try to come closer tomorrow. And then the next entry is from that tomorrow. My second expedition to the village of the natives has been foiled by an unexpected problem at the bridge. I'm afraid it was due to a slight miscalculation on my part, an indication that I should be focusing more on the task at hand and put my sudden love for all African things aside for a moment. It was my fault and I accept it. February 20th. They are at it again, lurking beyond the forest. It's amazing how they have changed our perception of the surroundings. At first we were delighted by the quiet nature of the place. Now we fear what horrors might be concealed in that dark and foreboding cloak of trees. The tops loom above us, overshadowing the bridge, and strange noises haunt our meals. Even the river telling ungodly secrets. We could be, of course, a bit more sensitive towards distractions, but I can't help feeling the area has, in fact, become more sinister. And yet I'm still looking forward to satisfying my curiosity about the tribe. February 24th. At last I've found something more about the neighboring tribe. This is an incredible finding, and I just can't withhold my excitement. Some elders at the local town happen to know about them, but only through stories they heard. The most surprising thing is that the tribe was assumed to be extinct long ago, but according to my vague descriptions, the elders think that we could be dealing with a legend here. Everything they ever learned of them was during their childhood, when the tribe was stalking the town, much in the same way they have been stalking us. People used to call them Tlaum or Tlaum. Is that an L or a T? I'm not sure. Tlaum or something. Tlaum. As such was the sound of screams heard echoing late in the night. They'd come out into the streets and see an evil glitter atop a hill in the distance. Some would say it was a fire, others the cursed spirit of an ancient god. Whatever it was, they say the bright light amid those fantastic screams was bone-chilling. The macabre scene would suddenly stop just as it had begun out of nowhere, never to be seen again in days to come. Intervals between those horrible nights became longer and longer, until they soon faded into oblivion. The tribe apparently had retreated back into obscurity until now. They were later known as the Dalmar, a rather more scientific name, although none of the people I spoke with could possibly remember its origin. I find it extremely surprising that nobody has ever heard about this tribe with the exception of a few townspeople. They must be incredibly rare, and judging by the stories passed on from generations in the town, very old. February 27th. I will confess that I've become nearly obsessed with this strange tribe. I see them as the most prized goal of my appreciation towards all South African things, a dangerous yet irresistible reward. I feel as if they were my discovery. I simply have to study them before leaving. I fear I won't have the chance to ever again. It has become an important goal of mine, even more important than finishing the bridge. March 4th. Finally I have managed to see them. My God, what a disturbing spectacle. When we arrived, they were moving around the village very slowly, without speaking or communicating with each other, each minding his or her own business, completely alien to the rest of the world. They were filthy looking, coarse, and downright disgusting. I couldn't see any weapons, but they could have been stored somewhere. It was all very strange behavior in a tribe. They must be quite unique. Then, as if they had suddenly all become possessed by some wild spirit, they began shaking spasmodically and screaming like mad. Some of them dropped to their knees and lifted their heads to the sky, eyes blank and moaning in an indescribable way. Two of them walked away, still in that monotonous and slow manner, and in great contrast to the rest of the scene, into a shack. The next minute they brought out into the open an odd-looking mask. Its shapes, colors, and overall looks, while unsettling, were mesmerizing, and I felt instantly hypnotized by it. It rendered my modest collection of African curiosities into dull and uninteresting items. The mask was very ominous, and the whole tribe seemed to greatly revere it. Soon they began to gather around it and move in circles, fluttering and chanting a guttural psalm. Judging by their motions and aspect of the whole ritual, it must have been some kind of war ritual. Where did he pull that out? War? I'm not sure how to explain what happened next, as I feel my pulse is already throbbing. Words fail me to recount the most disturbing thing I've ever witnessed. One of the male villagers walked into the middle, near the mask, by his own will. It was an almost automatic act. All of a sudden, the remaining members became silent. I can't tell for how long it lasted, but I was afraid to breathe. I think Dalby and the others were also scared. They wouldn't even blink. I remember being soaked wet and expectant. The silence was so unnatural. Then a few members separated from the people circling the mask and jumped on the single villager, beating him to death. To be completely faithful to the event, the small crowd tore him apart. They grabbed his legs in twos and threes and twisted them in a manner I dare not describe. His face was disfigured with their bare fingernails and teeth, and the torso soon disappeared under the frenzied tangle of hands. In a matter of a few minutes, the villager was turned into a red sack of bones. Not one of the attackers had the compassion to snap his neck during the sickening process. All was very methodical, as if it was just another mundane task. The most terrifying aspect, though, was that the victim didn't even cringe. The silence was so deep I could hear his flesh ripping. I would expect any living creature to scream its guts out in such a condition. I can't tell whether he was drugged or half asleep, but I did recognize him dancing like everybody else before walking into the middle of the circle. It was the most outrageous and sadistic sacrifice I've ever heard of. I don't think I will ever forget what I saw. My intentions of approaching further, even if they didn't have any weapons at hand, vanished. Those creatures, I dare not call them human beings, could have killed my whole company in the blink of an eye with their rage. They seemed to be completely out of themselves and willing to destroy anything intruding into their path. While the images of the sacrifice still haunt my thoughts, I still can't seem to forget that mask. It was so deceptive, simple, and yet perfect in its design. I haven't seen anything like it. I surely would love to take a better look. I feel that Dalmar, dangerous as they are, could be the most important ethnical finding in decades. What I've seen today is crying for some further investigating. I just can't leave them like that. I would never forgive myself. And the mask. That mask. Well, someone was obsessed with a mask. And I don't know if... Is this residue from a glue or something? Or are there stuck pages or something torn off? Maybe. I was ecstatic after reading the journal. The material was incredible. I don't think Art Hate quite realizes yet that the contents of that diary is probably true. I have to admit that was pretty incredible stuff. But war ritual? No, I would say more like a religious ritual.